So, all right, let's talk about the snow on the way. And I know a lot of times in the weather, we really focus on the disruptive part of that, and there will be that issue with ice on the roads and that kind of thing. But let's start off talking about snowman making because, Saturday is when we're really going to be able to get out and enjoy some snow. And it does look like this is going to be some decent weather for making a snowman. So let's take a look at what to expect with our snowman making forecast here as we zoom into our snowman there. We think this is going to be a fairly wet snow, not terribly wet. I think it's going to be just right for making snowballs, just right for making a snowman. Temperatures are going to be hovering probably just below freezing for much of this, and that gives us kind of a little wetter snow that just kind of packs together. And so some decent snowman making weather on the way. So let's start with a wide view. Now, this is our cold front that's moving through. We have two separate systems. We've got the cold front, and you see that area of low pressure. That is starting to develop over South Carolina. It will kind of shift its energy offshore and intensify once that cold front moves through. So the cold front is going to bring the cold air that will support snow. So right now we have some rain that's falling across the area, but we will see a changeover as we get closer to sunset. We're going to see a changeover more to some snow to the north, and then that will make its way across to the south side and eventually some across eastern North Carolina. So here's the forecast. You see the pretty close to the current time here. We'll fast forward here to around 11 o'clock. So all of that has made its way across the area. At that point, we do still have some snow and kind of a mix falling across eastern North Carolina. So snow for the south side of Hampton Roads, kind of that mix across eastern North Carolina. And notice the winds a little on the gusty side out of the north. The good news with this system, the winds are going to pick up, but they're mostly going to be from the north, unlike the storm system that we had this past weekend, where we had mainly easterly winds that caused the problems with tidal flooding. With a strong north wind, it's not going to cause that kind of problem with tidal flooding. So that is some good news with this. All right, let's fast forward here until we get to Friday morning. So you notice most of the precip from the cold front is out of here. We may see a few flakes flying around or some sleet here and there across eastern North Carolina, but the big concern as we head toward tomorrow morning is going to be a freeze. Temperatures are going to drop well down into the 20s overnight. And so anything that falls this evening will freeze on the roads. And so if you see anything in the morning on the roads, or even just on the stairs in front of your house on your stoop that looks wet, assume it is ice because you don't want to find out the hard way, right? All right, we're going to head through the day, and right now we're thinking a lot of the day for a lot of us will be dry, but as we fast forward here to around mid-afternoon, this is around 3 o'clock, we start to see the storm system moving in from the south. So today's event is coming in from the north, the cold front. Tomorrow, we expect the rain, sleet, and snow to move in from the south. So around 3 p.m., we've got snow falling across the Albemarle of North Carolina, some snow starting on the south side of Hampton Roads. Then you see kind of that messy mix as we look over toward the northern Outer Banks around Duck. We've got some sleet, perhaps a little freezing rain and snow mixing with some rain. And then as you get down towards, say, Manio and south, it's all rain at that point. All right, we fast forward here to around 6 p.m. This is the heart of the afternoon commute, and we've got snow across all of the Albemarle of North Carolina, and including the Currituck portion of the Outer Banks. We've got snow across the south side of Hampton Roads, starting to push to the lower peninsula, starting to push into the eastern shore. And then this is the point where things really kind of ramp up. So we fast forward here to 9 o'clock. You see the snow spread across the entire area. Temperatures are cold. So things are going to be falling, they're going to be freezing, or they're going to be starting to stack up at that point. So this is when we're going to really start to see that snow accumulating, and we're going to get some of those higher totals. That continues as we head toward the midnight hour. But it looks like this is going to be moving out very quickly. So we fast forward here to 7 o'clock on Saturday morning. Yeah, still a few snow showers out there, but really the general trend is for most of this to be out of here. And then as we take you to around the noontime hour, still some clouds around, could see a couple of flurries flying around, but for the most part, the snow is done. And then as we head into the afternoon, we may even see some clearing. And so there might be some decent weather for folks to get out and make some of those snowmen as well. And you notice the winds on that forecast are lighter. And so the winds will start to diminish in the afternoon. So it will be a little bit more comfortable for you and the kids to get out, have a snowball fight, do a little sledding, make a snowman, all that kind of stuff. And it's going to be Saturday, so most folks aren't going to have to work. So timing's not terrible. I'm concerned about, obviously, the drive tomorrow, but for the most part, we'll be able to enjoy a lot of the snow on the weekend. All right, let's talk about the snowfall forecast. Now, this is based on the GFS forecast model. This one yesterday backed off a lot. It's gotten more aggressive today. Still, we're not talking about a ton of snow with the GFS forecast model, but even this would be more snow than we've seen in quite a few years. So you can see the bullseye for the heaviest across the Albemarle in inland North Carolina, 4.5 inches from inland North Carolina to the Albemarle, 3.5 for the south side, dropping to near 2 on the peninsulas, around 3 for the eastern shore. So not a huge snowfall, but significant. Then we take a look at the graph forecast model. This is our in-house forecast model. It is more aggressive. And you can see we're talking about more than 7 on the south side, more than 8 for the Albemarle, and then around 4 on the peninsulas, maybe 4.5, near 5 on the eastern shore, near 5 for inland portions of Virginia. So that's a pretty significant snow. So we look at all of these forecast models and use our knowledge, history, what's happened before, to kind of come up with our own forecast. And this is what we're thinking. Now, I'm thinking this, we may kind of massage this down a little bit as we head through the evening hours. That bullseye of 6 to 8 may drop to the 5 to 8 or 5 to 7 category, but again, still pretty significant. Then we look a little bit farther north. We've got 4 to 6 as we look on the peninsulas, much of it inland Virginia and North Carolina and the eastern shore. So pretty significant snow. The thing that is kind of limiting things, it's the storm system we don't expect will be quite as intense as we were thinking just a couple of days ago. And it's going to move in and out quickly. Because it moves out quickly, that means some lower snowfall totals, but still that is a very significant snow. So how much are we talking about? Again, we may massage these totals down an inch or 2 here or there, but right now for the south side of Hampton roads, we're thinking 6 to 7 inches of snow, perhaps 7 around Chesapeake. That Virginia Beach may be away from the coast. So the immediate coast won't get that 7 inches, but more inland and especially more south, maybe around 1/2 foot for Norfolk, Portsmouth, and Suffolk. We may trend that down to around 5, but again, still a pretty significant snow for us. You see on the peninsulas and the eastern shore, lower totals, but again, this is more than we've seen in quite some time. We're talking 3, 4, 5, perhaps even more than that around the Hampton area, 4 to 5 plus on areas on the eastern shore. Tangier Island, you may get a little bit of snow too. I don't think it's going to be huge, but we're talking 3 inches. And then across eastern North Carolina, could even see a little bit of light accumulation on the Outer Banks. It takes a lot to get snow on the Outer Banks, but that is a possibility. And then our higher totals will be across the immediate Albemarle, Moyock, Elizabeth City, Hertford, we're thinking close to 7 inches. And then those totals get a little bit lower as we head deeper inland away from the center of the storm, because the storm is going to be offshore. So the deeper inland you get, farther away from the heaviest snow that you will be. But even so, it does look like that's going to be a pretty significant snow. As I mentioned, one of the concerns we have as we head into, especially tomorrow morning, overnight and tomorrow morning, is the danger of ice, black ice. It will form when the pavement is wet and temperatures drop below freezing. And so it looks just wet and you're thinking, I'm driving the rain all the time. And then sometimes it's too late when you realize that that's not rain, that's not wet, that's ice. Common places for that, bridges, overpasses, because those are the first to freeze because you get the cold air above and below them, and then shaded pavement where you don't get the sun to help melt things like that. So that's my concern tomorrow morning. And then you saw the snowfall totals pretty significant as we head into the weekend. Now, I know a lot of you do have some questions, and meteorologist Christy Stewart over here, she is looking at some of them. So what's the big questions that we're getting out there?
Actually, we haven't had too many questions. A lot of people saying that they're excited to see some snow. So that's always something fun. A lot of people that are just off to our north saying they're really seeing that transition now into some drizzle, some sleet,
nice.
Some snow flurries. And of course, that's going to continue to head our way as we've been talking about. Let's see. The only question that I really see, Betty is driving to Maryland tomorrow. So how about that commute, I guess?
Yeah, I think it gets a little dicey here at home. The farther north you go, the less in the afternoon and evening you're going to deal with. The storm system itself is going to be off of our shore. So this is one of those rare ones where we're not basically sharing the storm with a lot of other people. This is mainly going to be kind of brushing by us and then moving out to sea. And so as you head farther north, I think the conditions will improve, especially if you're going to be in the afternoon and evening hours on Friday. As you get away from the storm, things are looking a little bit better, but still not a lot of fun. If you can put off driving in this, that is always my advice. I know a lot of us here at the station will be camping out at the station or at a nearby hotel so that we don't have any trouble getting in, so that we can be on air providing you with the information.
We got one more question. Do you think there's another chance for snow next week?
Oh my. Oh, let me just get through this one. I've been putting the 7-day forecast together. Midweek, we're looking at a bit of a warm up and there could be some rain on Wednesday. I mean, one of the concerns for us is once this falls, it may not go anywhere for a while. We expect to stay below freezing for quite some time. I mean, as we head toward, what's my forecast high for Sunday?
38.
So that's when we finally, in the afternoon on Sunday, that's when we finally get above the freezing mark. So Sunday morning, we're going to wake up to temperatures well down in the 20s. And we're talking low to mid 20s. So, if you have plans to go off to church on Sunday morning, there may not be very many services. I think there will be a number of churches, many churches that decide to not put their parishioners at risk and probably cancel services. Or these days, we've learned how to do things online. So you may get some Zoom church on Sunday morning and it will keep you off the roads. And I think that's probably a wise choice. By the afternoon on Sunday, we start to see temperatures rise a little bit above freezing, but even into Monday and Tuesday of next week, it is still going to be on the chilly side.
We have another good question. Is there any way that this will miss us and we just get rain?
I think there could be lower totals. The forecast models go back and forth. It depends if this storm jigs a little bit more offshore. We could have lower totals, especially in some of our northern communities. But I think the idea of it just completely missing us, I think the window on that is closing, not completely closed at this point, but I think it's a done deal that we're going to get something frozen. And again, those totals may be massaged a little bit, maybe not quite as aggressive as we have right now, but still a pretty significant snow for us. All right, we're just past 3:30 right now. And of course, the gang is here. Meteorologist Maddie Kirker. You just heard from Christy Stewart, our meteorologist. And we're all getting ready for the news this afternoon that begins at 4 o'clock. Don't forget that we will also be streaming the news on WTKR.com and on all of our platforms, our what we call our OTT channel, over the top channel. So if you have our app for Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, you can catch our live feed there. And also we posted our latest forecast there and a number of different kind of interesting tidbits about the weather that you can check out there. Plus, you can hear from our teams of reporters out talking about the preps and getting ready for this. So you can check that all out live beginning at 4 and then also live on our over-the-top channels on all your favorite devices. We've got you covered just about everywhere. All right, we will have frequent updates, I'm sure, over the next couple of days here on Facebook and, of course, on our standard television, WTKR and, of course, WGNT Channel 27.